This option would mean that the treated wastewater from your homes and businesses would be treated and then discharged onto land 55% of the time and into the Manawatu River the remainder of the time. The discharge to land would be over our warmer months when the river levels are low. Then we're discharged to the river when the river levels are higher, typically over winter. This option would require huge amounts of land, more than 1,700 hectares, making it by far the biggest land discharge in New Zealand. The wastewater would be treated to a higher standard than it currently is, but not as high as if we were discharging primarily to the river like in option 1. The discharge to the river would flow through a wetland or land passage before entering the waterway. Some nutrients in wastewater that are applied to land are beneficial as they promote plant growth, which could earn an income. We'd need to upgrade our treatment plant for this option, build a wetland or land passage, and build a pipe network to the land discharge site. We'd also need to invest in storage and irrigation equipment. We need to factor in climate change for this option, as we're expecting there will be an increase in the intensity and occurrence of heavy rainfall events. This can impact the land-based discharge due to the land's ability to absorb treated wastewater immediately after these events. This could mean we may need to discharge to the river more after these events. We'd attempt to mitigate this as much as possible during the design. This option has high upfront costs because of the need to buy large amounts of land and construct pipelines from our treatment plant to the irrigation area. This option would also have high operational costs associated with the treatment for the river discharge and staffing needed for the maintenance of the land irrigation area and managing the land use. We estimate this option would cost ratepayers an additional $340 each year. We don't think this option would accommodate other councils' wastewater in the future because of the constraints around acquiring even larger areas of land. This option does have some trade-offs though. This will require significant areas of land, and purchasing or leasing this would affect a significant number of people. The kind of land needed for wastewater discharge is well-draining soils, which means we'd be requiring land that is ideal for farming and food production. There is no legislative guide to help us determine the long-term impacts of discharging onto land for up to 35 years, which is a potential maximum consenting period. We know many members of our community and our neighbours in Horowhenua do not want treated wastewater in the Manawatu River, and people may refrain from recreational activities in the river as a result. The discharge of even well-treated wastewater during periods of high flow would negatively impact the mauri, or life force, of the river, and impact the mana of iwi, who are kaitiaki, or guardians of the river. Given the very large land area required, it would be difficult to avoid discharging to suitable land that does not hold significant cultural value for Māori. To find out about the other options and to have your say, head to naturecalls.nz.